This is Will Nunziata, New York City-based director and creator of theater, television, and film. And today I am thrilled to be speaking with an acclaimed, dare I say, Renaissance man. He is an acclaimed banjo player. He is a composer, a visual artist, and author. He does it all, Mr. Dan McNay. But before we get to our interview, here is a sneak peek at his incredible talent with his original song, The Little Ones.
Late house stood high in the clouds, strand of smoke from the chimney, snakes awoke, the evening storm replied to the hiding setting sun. You will be the dawn, I will be the breakfast slave. After the storm is gone, little ones come, faces like this, like sparrows on the lawn.
Well, hello, Dan. How are you?
I'm good. Today's a nice day here in LA.
I love LA, but I'm a born and bred New Yorker. So here I am in the East Coast giving you my New York black uniform, Dan. You're welcome. But I'm so excited that the audience got just a sneak peek of your amazing talent with you performing just a week ago, one of your original tunes, The Little Ones. Talk to me a little bit about the impetus behind that song when you created it, Dan.
Well, what I discovered when I started writing songs, this is more recent projects of discovering. Anyway, I've been writing bad poetry most of my adult life, and I started doing the music and started composing songs, and suddenly realized that some of my older bad poetry made perfect song lyrics. So that's actually, the Little Ones came from a fragment of a poem that I didn't ever finish, but it with a chorus, it was perfect. So and it turned out a nice melody. It was one of the earlier ones that I actually recorded. I was performing a lot of them live. I play out a lot, farmers markets, clubs, wherever anybody will take me, county fairs.
I freaking love it, Dan. I'm curious to know, specifically with the instrument of the banjo, when did your, dare I say, relationship or friendship with the banjo begin?
Well, I was 16, actually. There was a guy by the name of John Hartford, who was an old-time banjo player, sang, and back in the 60s, 70s. He did a song called Gentle on My Mind, which some people still remember. But I picked up a banjo then and learned about 2 songs, and then I went hitchhiking off to the world and left it behind because I didn't want to have to tell people that were picking me up for rides that I didn't know how to play it. So at 52 or so, I found one in a thrift store and said, well, this would be a good retirement project. So I brought it home, and then I started buying better ones and learning more and having fun with it.
Dan, I freaking love it. I also just love your childlike spirit. I mean, I love it. 52 years young, becoming such an amazing banjo player. And on top of that too, if you weren't doing everything else, you're also an author. Talk to me about when the love of writing really came to you, and when you decided to just put pen to paper and write your first full-length novel.
Well, I've been writing since I was 15. I got noticed in high school, and I was given me and a couple other guys were given a creative writing course at this lab high school for Indiana University. Anyway, it's the only thing I ever got praised for. So I actually was writing short stories, and I went to New Orleans and I wrote the first draft of the first book then when I was like 22, 23. And then came out here to California and did a second draft. And there were 2 or 3 others that never saw the light of day. Nobody was particularly interested in the first 3 or 4. I am sort of reworking some of the older stuff now that I know how to publish and what people like to read. So the one I'm working on right now, I'm about halfway through the second draft, and it's actually sort of based on one that I wrote in my late 20s.
Oh, well, so you're kind of looking back. I'm curious to know, is there a certain genre, Dan, that you find yourself liking to write more about than another?
Well, I have most of what I publish are suspense novels, except for I have 2 history books. One was a sort of a fictional account of a guy in Samoa who was actually Robert Louis Stevenson's son-in-law. They were trying to build a plantation in Samoa, and that's called The Truth About Treasure Island. I did a lot of research on that. It's more historical, but it's got passion to it and stuff of his story. One I'm coming out with this month or December is a historical biography of a woman in New York City that's an artist and bisexual and interesting woman.
What was her name?
Her name was Helena Decay Gilder, and nobody really knows who she is.
How did you come about who she was, and you became so fascinated to want to write about her?
Well, it's been a project for several years. It may be a 3-part thing. This is just one segment of her early life. I was lecturing on art for a while with this group we had here, and I was looking for info on Winslow Homer, who's an American painter that I thought would be a cool person to write about, except that he never talked, he never wrote anything down. But he was in love with this woman at one point and actually followed her to her summer house and convinced her mother and her to let her sit for paintings of her by him. There's several oil studies. He did a portrait of her, a sitting portrait, studio portrait, but she's also in a couple of these other paintings from the time period where she didn't sit for it, and he just sort of painted her into the painting.
Oh my gosh.
But I got interested in it. I started looking up her name and looking at references and stuff. And she was friends. She grew up with Henry James. They were good friends. She and her family are in maybe 8 or 9 of James's novels as fictionalized characters. She's in several. Anyway, her husband was a publisher of a big magazine in New York City. Started out as Scribner's, and then it became can't think of the second name. But anyway, it was a big major literary social magazine. They published Huckleberry Finn for the first time, and some James books and a bunch of other people. The husband was a poet, and this woman, anyway, she went through the educational system there with Cooper Union, and then with the Academy of Design had classes then, and she and a friend of hers were the first women to have their own art studio in New York City. And she had a couple of affairs with one of them with Henry James's cousin, and then fell in love with a woman in her art classes at Cooper Union. And then they ended up both getting married to men, but they wrote for 20 years to each other. She ended up in California, and Helena was in New York.
So there were letters that were recovered.
Yeah, there's 20 years of letters between these two. Let's say what really amazed me, I found this diary that she and her husband kept when they first got married. It's an amazing diary. They were totally honest with each other.
Wait, that they both kept together?
Together, and they would read it. The only other place I've ever seen anything like that, Tolstoy tried to do one with his wife, and they ended up in a big fight.
Dan, I'm a freaking theater director. This seems like it could be a musical just based upon these letters in this diary.
Well, I've written a musical. It's the book and the demo songs are on a site called The Best of Friends, which is the title of the book.
Oh my God, are you kidding me? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so this is the book that's coming out. I don't have a hard copy.
Wait, and you wrote a freaking musical already about it?
Yeah, well, it was like 2 years working on this musical.
Wait, is it online? Can I see it? Can I hear
Yeah,
it?
if you go to the bestoffriends.com site, there is,
I can't believe I missed that, but I love the fact that we're at least on the same page, because here I am at 30,000 feet purviewing this story that is so epic in nature. And listen, I'm so excited, Dan, that we are finally connected. But before we end, I want to just let the audience know, for more on the incredible Dan and everything he's up to, every link that there is about this incredible Renaissance man is right below this video. And Dan, I'm going to get in deep diving into The Best of Friends, this musical that you created. And on top of all of that, I'm so grateful that we're connected now, Dan. You are such an amazing talent.
Well, thank you. Appreciate that. Hope you like it. The whole book is there, and it has links in the book to the demo songs that are all recorded. So,
oh, I cannot wait. Thank you, Dan.
all right. Well, thank you.